feel free to answer me as you would, but why the name the Dead Kennedys?
Well, why not?
Certainly.
It's a name not meant to be a slap on the Kennedy family so much as to call attention to what happened after they were killed. Why people in this country turned more and more inward and became more and more self-centered. And as a result, that set themselves up to be the corporate-serving rodents that they are today. I think the Kennedy killings are the source of what's called the me generation in this country. And also, it's let's face it, it's also a slap in the face of a religion that was that sprang up after the Kennedy assassinations as well. I think Elvis Presley has kind of taken the place of that religion now. If you drive into a gas station in middle America, you can find fairly ornate porcelain Elvises for $70 a piece, and people buy them.
I bought one, yeah.
See what I mean? People in this country get more and more gullible by the day. You've caught the disease.
I mean, I'd like to ask you about some of the songs on here. I mean, there's some titles like Kill the Poor, Let's Lynch the Landlord, especially California, Uber Alice. I'd like you to tell me about that, your motivation for writing that song.
Let's take them one at a time. Kill the Poor and Let's Lynch the Landlord are two very different entities. Kill the Poor is sarcasm. I like to slip in behind villains causing certain problems and expose them from that way rather than just say, I think this is bad. It's
speaking from the third party.
Yeah, and like Kill the Poor is meant to go behind the military mind and expose the real reasons for building the neutron bomb, which is to weed out heavily populated areas so they can build fancy hotels and things for wealthy people and get rid of the poor people. As in, it would make no sense to drop a neutron bomb on a so-called enemy like Russia because if you don't level their buildings, you don't economically wipe out your foe and win a war. And neutron bombs leave the building standing. So I figure they're just meant for the Detroits and who knows, even Liverpools of the world.
Who knows? America, Uber Alice.
Yeah, it's even more than Kill the Poor. California Uber Alice warns of fascism in disguise. It's not a pro-Nazi song in any way.
Now, the song I really enjoyed a lot was I Kill Children. Now, I'd like you to tell me how that came about.
You're one of the few English people I've ever talked to who had anything good to say about that song. As you may notice, America produces a great many people who have no outlet for their emotions until they commit some really creative, well-planned crime, a la Richard Nixon's crime on the country and David Berkowitz, or your Yorkshire Ripper was one of these as well. He was beyond the ordinary with his little carefully written letters taunting the police and things. But so some of the song is just plain old sick humor, but then you also, I Kill Children is meant to pose the question, what causes people to behave like this? What causes people to kill children, be it one child molester or the Shah of Iran or whatever? What makes these people's brains tick, and whose fault is it? Is it theirs or is it society's? I think it's society's.
Yeah, I must say, I found it really scary. If I'd have been a child, it would have scared me listening to it. It reminded me of like a Dickens child character.
Good.
I'd like you to tell me, and the viewers who don't know about it, I believe that you stood in your hometown of San Francisco, you stood for mayor, and you had some interesting policy. Tell me about this mayor standing.
Well, that was fall of 1979. I was a legal candidate for mayor of San Francisco, which entitled me to equal time on television and newspapers and things, and in the voters' pamphlet to get my platform across. And so right next to the usual, well, I think San Francisco's a great city because my backers do too, so vote for me, we had elements of the platform like making the police run for election, voted on by the Neighborhood State Patrol. There was banning cars from the city, hiring off laid-off city workers as panhandlers on a 50% commission, sending them into rich neighborhoods, including the one where the present mayor lives. Moving the city jail to a local golf course so they can enjoy true rehabilitation like the Watergate criminals and things. It was a very effective slap in the face against the other candidates. It got under their skin in just the kind of way I wanted to.
What would you say to the people who might say that you were rather tasteless, your critics? What would you say to them?
As I say, ha 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 ha.
That's it, is it?
Ho 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 ho.
Well, I'd go along with that fairly wholeheartedly.
I'm glad we're getting under their skin. We're not safe family entertainment in any way, and It'll be interesting to see what takes our place when we do become that, as everything does sooner or later. But
well then, should be off then, shall we? So, are you getting rich? Are you getting rich off your music?
Are you kidding? We can live off of it, which most people who do what we do can, which I'm very proud of.
Do you have a car?
No.
Oh, bad luck, I do. Well, I'm not going your way, so,
Gee, thanks.
bye. Thanks for the interview, then. Bye. People constantly lift off me, I don't know.